Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So make sure you manage your thoughts that you are experiencing every day. We must manage our thoughts, not to focus on the negative things, but focus on what is good. I hope everyone is having a good day. The topic for this episode is don't allow your past to hold you back. And Jaki Draper is here. But before we get into the topic, I would like to remind you, if you are out there traveling about, make sure you're wearing your mask and using your hand sanitizer. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. So please keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. I always remind you of that because I care and I just want people to be well. Make sure you're taking vitamin C, zinc, and D, the vitamin supplements. Take care of your body as well. That's the most important thing to get through this time that we all are dealing with. So that being said, I also want to remind you, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you so much for your donations. And we're going to get into it. How you doing, Jaki?
Hello. I'm having a nice day. How about you?
Yes. My day has been very, very good, very productive, very focused. And just in my own zone all day. I just working through the day and just getting things done and just focused. It's so important to be focused because when you are absolutely focused, I think that your productivity just goes to a whole nother level because you get rid of all the distractions. What you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Need to be focused. Have a plan.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about don't allow your past to hold you back because a lot of times, people, well, let me say this first. We all have experienced some type of bad relationship traumas. We've all, made bad decisions, choices. We've all done something that we're not particularly proud of. All of us as human beings, that's what we have done, right? So that being said, we can't allow our past to hold us back from the good that can happen now. And a lot of times, Jaki, people, they focus on their past to the point where it actually holds them back. They allow like the things that they've gone through in their childhood and their bad marriages and relationships to just stay in their present. What do you think about that?
Oh, I've definitely experienced that for myself.
Yeah.
I've definitely let bad experiences hold me back.
Uh-huh. And how did you get to a point where you were determined to just go forward without anything just lingering in your present?
For me personally, I went for a very long time with a lot of negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. And making excuses for not moving forward. And those excuses were always my past.
Right.
But what had the result of spending so many years with this dialogue to myself that I can't do this because of that, or I feel this way because of that, or these choices are going to be poor because that's going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. Has made a subconscious layer in there of all of that negative talk. So now, today, actually in the past almost exact year here, I have been working on things and I have to literally stop in my tracks and tell myself, allow this to happen.
Right. The good
Take
stuff.
These steps.
Yes.
Do these things. Yes. And I don't think in my journey to improve myself, I learned a lot about how your brain works. And your brain is designed to protect you. So all of everything about you is based on your past experiences. So subconsciously, even you go into a situation, your brain sees something that triggers It triggers a subconscious memory of the past.
Right.
And your brain is designed to protect you. So it says, hey, don't go forward. This is dangerous. You're going to get hurt.
Right.
Go another direction.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be conscious of those things and say, no, brain, we're going to do this. That doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen again.
That's right.
But it's hard. I think for most people, we live on autopilot, especially when emotions are involved. Our brain is there and we let these emotions come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for instance, with your brain, when it sees or thinks something good, you make a plan, and it has a well thought out path to complete that plan.
Wow.
And then the moment that it sees a good path, your brain releases endorphins when it sees something good. Like, I want that. It's at the end of that 100 yards, and you see there is nothing in your way. Your brain triggers happy feelings, endorphins, because it knows I'm about to have that because nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah.
And then something comes in between you and that thing that's 100 yards away. Your brain automatically releases this chemicals that make you say, no, now I'm not going to get it. And you panic.
Well, for me, I'll tell you this. When I was in my early 20s, I recognized that I was thinking the wrong way, right? Just by being afraid of different things. And as you just stated, you stated that, you would try to do something, and then all of a sudden, a bad thought would come in. Well, that's what I recognized when I was in my early 20s. And so I made a commitment to renew my mind. I made an actual commitment. And I'm telling you, I studied the thought life in the mind for like 10 years. This was serious to me because I was so determined to take on a different mindset. And the way I renewed my mind was I started feeding myself motivational and inspirational content. It could have been a book. It could have been a minister on TV. It could have been something on the radio while I was driving to work. I kept everything that was positive in front of my eyes. I kept everything that was positive in my ears. And I still do that today to protect my eye gate and my ear gate. That's what I call it. And so I protect those things because what you take in, that's what will eventually come out of you. If you're sitting around listening to somebody that's just cussing all day long, and I'm not saying, I'm not condemning anybody that use curse words, okay? Because I don't cuss, but I'm not condemning anybody. But I'm just saying, keeping it real.
Because I cuss a lot.
No, okay, but let me explain it. But if you're sitting around, right, and you're listening to somebody that's like offensively cussing, it's a difference between cussing in a conversation and just cussing maliciously. There's a difference because it's the content of one's delivery, right? So if a person is just flagrantly, offensively, maliciously cussing, just cussing at people, and if you are around that all day long, eventually that's going to rub off on you. So what I'm saying is, to renew your mind, you have to protect your eye gate and your ear gate, and you have to take in material so that you can develop a different way of thinking. And then when anything from your past comes about, what happens is your new mind will step in to remind you, nope, that's not what we're supposed to be thinking. So what I'm saying is, what you take in dominates how you think more consistently. A lot of times the things from the past, it comes up to remind us of what we've gone through, but we don't have to react to it the wrong way when we have a renewed mind. And a lot of people are held back by their past because they haven't renewed their mind. They're triggered. They see somebody they're no longer in a relationship with, and they're triggered. They're triggered. When you think about something that's triggered, it's something that kind of jerks, right? And it jerks and it gives a reaction like a gun, right? It gives a release of something. So for a person that is held back based upon something that they went through in their past, it's normally a person that doesn't have a renewed mind, a person that focuses more on their past mistakes and traumas. You know what I'm saying? As I stated earlier, we all have gone through something. But the key factor is if you take steps every single day to work on yourself and renew your mind to deal with those triggers, to deal with those past traumas, that's how you take steps to manifest something different in front of you by how you think and how you respond to people, no matter what people say or do, or no matter what you've been through in your past. So, would you agree with that? I mean, you know.
Absolutely. I think that's, I love that idea that you're filling your head with positive intake, but do you feel, I feel like you probably also need to have a new story to tell yourself too, instead of pulling on the same, you know, I started this business and it failed. So I'm afraid to start another business. So, but you would need to start another business so that you can prove that you're not going to fail this time.
That's right.
So you have a new story.
That's
right.
right.
And actually take action to make things better. Or, you know,
exactly.
I had a failed marriage, you know, next time it'll be better, you know.
Exactly. And that's why I always say project what is good, because if you are trying to accomplish something and you project that it's going to be successful, then going forward, regardless of what you have experienced in the past, regardless of past failures, you have to keep moving forward, projecting to the thing that you want to see. You know, another thing that I did, you know, when I was in the process of renewing my mind was I would project negative relationships. I would meet new people and I would say, oh, they're going to do something to me.
You know? God, yes. Absolutely, I've done that.
Yeah, I was
pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I was suspicious. And then all of a sudden I said, wait a minute. Like I said, I was in my early 20s and I said, wait a minute, why am I doing that? And then as I grew older, I was still doing it and I didn't recognize it. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be projecting that somebody's going to do me wrong. I'm not supposed to be projecting that the relationship's going to fail. I'm not supposed to be projecting that I'm going to get fired. Oh, they don't like me. If you already said it in your head, then guess what? You're basically giving power to something that you don't want to happen, but you're giving power to it because you're thinking it, right? So
I think also if you think that something bad is going to happen, then you also will behave in a manner to which you will prove what you thought was correct. Like you said, the people at work don't like me or they're going to fire me. Yeah. So you're going to behave in a manner at work subconsciously maybe to prove that you're right.
Exactly. And so what I did was when I recognized that I was projecting that, I said, wait a minute, I have to change how I'm looking at people. So when I meet people, I look at them like, this is an awesome person. This is a blessed person, you know, and whatever you show me, that's how I will define you. Now, if you show me that you're sneaky, then I'm going to say she's sneaky. You know what I mean? But, but there is no reason for me to just look at everybody like, oh, I don't know about him because he just looked like he's no good. How's somebody going to look like they no good unless they are acting as if they are actually no good? You know what I mean? I mean, some people can look suspicious, yes. But I'm just saying, if you meet somebody and they have a smile and they're being nice to you, how is it that the person's doing everything that's good, but yet they look like they no good? You know?
Right.
You know, I've heard people talk like that. So, you know, allowing yourself to, you know, to be held back by your past, it starts with, I believe, it starts with how we think. Totally. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, Jackie, those actions that one displays with that false thought that they have, because what you're thinking sometimes might not even be true. You know?
Right.
You could be with somebody that truly loves you, but if you're walking around thinking, oh, he don't love me, you know, he don't love me. I mean, come on. We have to project what is good. That's my whole point. What you think, Jackie? What do you think about that?
Oh, certainly. I think that our stories from the past definitely hold us back. So I think a lot of it is subconscious, and sometimes we try to prove that, someone from our past was right about us.
Mm.
And then we acted out. And we have to take conscious steps to rewrite that story.
Yes.
Rewrite the future. Live in the moment. Because the past is over. Honestly, you can't change it. It's there. It's over. So the only time we really have is right now, in the moment.
That's right.
And the future hasn't gotten here yet. So we can't really predict that either. We have to be open to the future, but we have to live in the now.
We have to live in the now. We are not victims, and we are not defined by what we went through as children. We have been empowered by the things that we have overcome. Okay? We are not victims. I have to say that again. We are not victims by past mistakes and poor choices and bad marriages and relationships and childhood traumas. We are not victims. We are overcomers. We are empowered by our past, because many of us, we don't look like our past, right? So that being said, we're not defined by our mistakes in our past. We also cannot justify our behavior when we recognize something that we're doing according to something from our past. We can't justify it. We got to call it what it is.
Right.
If you've been in a bad relationship and an individual is walking around with a bunch of anger because somebody hurt them in their last relationship, and then, whether it be a friend or a family member, you say something about it, hey, you got, I see you're a little, angry unnecessarily, and the person says, oh, I'm angry because they did this to me. That's a victim-like mentality when a person does that, because they try to justify their behavior and they don't do what it takes to become better. What do you think about that, Jackie?
Well, I definitely think that, for me personally, I have to remind myself that I can't use my past as an excuse, or the way my relationships with people as an excuse. Like my poor relationship with my mother as an excuse for why I behave a certain way. Well,
exactly.
I didn't get along with my mom, so, then that makes me this way. I'm an adult.
Yes.
I'm conscious of it, so that means I need to make the changes on my own.
Absolutely. Before we started this episode, I was thinking about some things that happened to me in some friendships. And when I thought about it, I didn't think about it in terms of like the bad things they did to me. I thought about it in terms of how I forgave them. I thought about how when I was mistreated, I thought about how I just squashed it to the point where I didn't even talk about it. And I said to myself, man, I never even brought that up to a certain individual. I never even said anything about it. But you know why I didn't say anything? Because I was in that moment. It happened years ago. When everything took place, I had to focus on moving forward because I was going through something at the time. So when I was betrayed, I didn't feel the need to discuss it at the moment. This person is still in my life today, and I've never even brought it up. I just squashed it. I gave it to God, and I just squashed it. But I told myself that's not going to allow me to move forward. Because I think that sometimes we do have to discuss when somebody has done us wrong. Yes, we do. But I think for me personally, I didn't talk about it at that time because I told myself I had too many things I had to focus on. And if I focus on discussing the issue with that person, it's just going to hold me back at that particular time. So I just didn't even talk about it. But we have to press full speed ahead and not look back. We can't look back at the past to the point where it makes us stuck in what we should be experiencing right now in our life. We can't look back to the point where we're holding something in us because of something that happened 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. We should not allow the past to shape our thoughts for today. Of course, quite naturally, we all have a memory. Sometimes you will think about something, but don't think about it to the point where it holds you down or holds you in a emotional place where you are stuck. I know some people, Jackie, the minute you mention something about their past relationship or marriage, they just, that's a trigger for them. They freak out. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously they need to work through it. That's why they freak out, because it's still there.
It's still there.
Well, funny that you had brought this topic up today, because yesterday, my girlfriend Natalie and I were talking about something that as I'm always trying to better myself here, I have a thing I'm trying to get through, and she suggested, just write it all out and don't type it on your phone. Just write it all out with a pen and just like brain dump the whole thing, the whole situation. And it's like, you don't have to tell anybody what you wrote. You don't have to put it anywhere. Just burn it, whatever, throw it away, put it in the trash, but just get it out. And I saw that actually in a movie years ago. And where the guy wrote all this stuff out and then burned it, and I was like, I don't even know why I didn't think of that. But
wow, that is. But
yeah, you just kind of gotta just.
Yeah.
And then wrote it all out, and then I read it. It's one thing to get the words are all jumbled in your head and your thoughts, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't know. They're just not together. But then when you write it all out and then you reread it, and of course it's a mess. It's not anything anybody would want to read anyway.
Yeah.
But you kind of put it together, and you're kind of like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Tear it up and throw it away.
Yeah, that's excellent idea.
It kind of seems more real when it's in your head, and then when you put it on the paper, it's not that. Yeah. You're making more out of what it is,
Yeah, writing it down, and
it's easier to move past it. And you're like, oh, what was this? Why am I holding? It's more emotional when you keep it inside, I think, and your emotions. You know.
It is. It really is. Write it down, and rip it up or burn it up. Burn it up in the fireplace.
Right.
Don't burn it up in your house. We don't want nobody starting a fire.
No, throw it in the fireplace.
Throw it in the fireplace, or just write it down and then rip it up to shreds, or put it in the shredder. That's a good thing. Yeah. My inspirational quote for today was, get rid of everything that's a reflection of your past. And I wrote that down because that's what I was thinking about today. It's like we have to get rid of the things that reflect our past. I mean, it could be anything. It could be something in your house that you need to get rid of it, whatever it is, because it's a reflection of your past. It's a reflection of something that you do not need. I'm going to tell you a personal story. I was in a relationship. This was like 20 years ago, just in case anybody starts scratching their head trying to figure out something. Okay. So I was in a relationship. This was more than 20 years ago. And so I was with this individual for a very, very long time, more than 5 years. Anyway, I had all of this jewelry that this individual had brought me in this relationship. And so once the relationship was over, I was like, okay, we didn't move forward. We're done. I'm moving on. And maybe after a year or 2 years, all the jewelry that was given to me for more than 7 years, I mean, rings, bracelets, watches, I mean, you name it. I had all this jewelry. I took all of that jewelry because it was a reflection of my past. I took all of that jewelry and I gave it away. I gave it away because I wanted my present state at that time to reflect something moving forward. And somebody might say, oh, I wouldn't get my jewelry right. I wouldn't get, no. Well, let me tell you something. When you are working on yourself and when you are determined to experience something different, the material stuff won't even matter. And that's how I felt. Yeah. So I gave away bracelets and rings and all that. And some of the jewelry, I gave it to my sister. And one day she called me up and she said, Shrey, do you remember all that jewelry you gave me? And I said, yeah, I sure did. I gave you all that jewelry. She said, oh my God, it's so beautiful. so
she's enjoying it. So it has new life.
Yeah. So one day, I thought about the ring, and I thought about it, and I said, I want my ring back. But then I was just joking, but like I said, I did that because I wanted my state of being at that moment to reflect something new and different. And that was my way from my heart and mind to show that I was moving forward. It wasn't because I didn't give away the jewelry because I was angry or mad. And I was like, oh, I just don't want to do, nothing to do with them. No, it wasn't that, because we ended the relationship with peace. But I gave away everything because, like I said, I wanted to reflect moving forward to experience something new. And sometimes many of us, we hold on to things from the past. It could be furniture. It could be anything. I'm not saying throw your furniture out and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is it could be something that you just see as important. And that thing is not important at all, because every time you look at it, it's reminding you of your past. Something that you went through that was toxic, or something you went through that was painful. And every time you see it, it triggers you. But yet that individual, they keep that, whatever it is, in their home, on their neck or whatever, and they are stuck emotionally. They're stuck. So that's why I wanted to talk about this topic today. Don't allow your past to hold you back, because I was thinking about just that. The past can hold you back. If you don't let it go, the thoughts, the mementos, whatever you have that you focus on to keep you back there 10 years ago. Sometimes you just gotta, not sometimes, but you have to let it go to experience something different in your life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Whether, if you're an entrepreneur and you're building, look, that area as well. You want to experience something new, you got to let the past go. So that's what I did, though, Jackie. And I'm telling you, it was so refreshing. I'm telling you. Oh, it was so refreshing because when I gave stuff away, I just started new. And I was good. I was good. Would you do that, Jackie? Give everything away?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
When I left my husband, I left the whole house full of stuff.
Oh, wow. See? That's strength too. When you love yourself, it's beneficial to let the past go, because your focus is on being a better you. And that's what it's about. We also shouldn't allow the perception of others to hold us back when it comes to our past as well, Jackie, because sometimes people will remind you of your past. They'll remind you of what you did, and they'll say you ain't changed, and they'll remind you of something that you did when you was 10 years.
Right, yeah. That's true, though.
Yeah.
People don't want you to grow. People don't want you to change all the time because they're not growing or changing.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So when somebody reminds you of your past, sometimes you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to say anything. Just keep it moving. If somebody says something that's, kind of off the wall, something crazy that they shouldn't say pertaining to something in your past, sometimes it's not even worth discussing or defending, because if somebody can reach you like that, that means you're on their level. See? People respond to people based upon the ability to reach them, because if I'm not on your level, you won't be able to reach me. When I say reach, just put out your arm and see how far you can reach. See? So if somebody's saying something to you that you don't like about your past and you want to defend yourself, that means, in my opinion, Jackie, I don't see that person as being renewed. Because when you know that you are renewed and that's not you anymore, you don't have to defend it, because that's not you anymore. So there's nothing to defend. If we do defend ourselves, guess what? It represents not, like I said, it represents not being renewed. That's just my opinion. I know somebody might disagree with that, but if it's not you, then why defend it? Why defend it? What you think, Jackie? I mean, you wouldn't defend it, right? I'm sure.
Oh God, no! I would just keep going. No big deal to me.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
Yeah, we have to wake up each day with a focus of doing something new every single day. And we have to keep in mind that, like you said, Jackie, we can't get the past back, and we don't want the past, because anything that we've done in the past is the past. And so pressing forward with new actions and new ideas and a new mindset and a new attitude, all of that feels good. And as we work on ourselves, we have to always remember that our past only empowers us. We're not victims by it. We're not defined by it, but it empowers us. You know, some people are still walking around saying, oh, well, you know, my parents divorced and I'm still hurt about it. Come on now. Come on. We have to renew our minds. I believe that healing starts with a renewed mind. And a renewed mind starts with how you decide to work on yourself each and every day. What are you exposing yourself to? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you conversating with? That is the beginning of your healing. What are you feeding yourself every day? Just like you drink a glass of water and you eat food when you're hungry, you have to feed your spirit every single day by what you read, by what you listen to, and your conversations. You know, that's another thing, Jackie. If I'm sitting around talking to family members or friends and they talking about something from the past that's not beneficial, because some things in the past you want to enjoy because it's a sweet memory and it brings back memories of laughter and joy and love. There's nothing wrong with that. But you could be sitting around talking to people, discussing the past, and they bringing up all the stuff that we're not supposed to be talking about. That type of conversation, I will get up and walk out the room. If I'm on the phone, I'll just dismiss myself. I'll say very politely, I gotta go. You know, I'm not going to say, I used to say things like, why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about that? No. I don't say that no more. No. I just politely dismiss myself. And then they'll be saying something like, why did she leave? Or why did she hang up? Well, that's why. Because, I don't entertain the things that are not beneficial, especially if something from the past, something that is not of the content of peace and love and joy. You know, if you're talking about something from your past, make sure it is something that is empowering you. Talk about how you overcame it. Yes, we all have gone through some type of trauma, some type of pain, some type of a bad relationship, marriage, whatever we've gone through. But talk about it in the context of how you overcame. Talk about it in the context of what are you doing now to continue to overcome and to be empowered by it. But to speak in the context of being a victim and making excuses not to change and making excuses to be a bitter person and making excuses not to better yourself or, get an education or whatever it is you need to do to better yourself. When you make excuses because you're allowing yourself to be held back by your past, that's something that you're choosing and you don't want to do that. So, but that's what my thoughts were today, Jackie. You have anything else you want to share on that note?
No, I think we did well.
Yeah, the topic itself is, I think that it's something that we all have to be reminded of because we are not our past. We're not 5-year-olds anymore. We're not 10-year-olds anymore. You know, a couple of days ago, I was just walking through my house and then all of a sudden I got this flashback of something really terrible that happened to me when I was a kid. And when that flashback popped up in my mind, I said to myself, I am not that little girl anymore. I am the woman. So, whatever bad spirit that was, look. Hey, the little girl couldn't fight, but the woman can fight. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually because I know how to pray. Okay. So, I'm not going to just lay around and just let all them thoughts from when I was 10, 11, 12 years old come to my mind. And I'm just like, oh, that happened to me. You know, my parents got a divorce and oh, no. We're not victims. We are overcomers, and we are empowered by our past. And whatever you have gone through, whatever we have gone through as individuals, remember, it starts with renewing your mind, and it starts with choosing to work on yourself every single day. And even if you get bad thoughts, just keep pressing forward to keep doing the work, and it will get easier and easier and easier for you to manage your thought life, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to just sit around and just let a nest be created on top of our head. That is not what we're supposed to do. And we cannot make excuses. We just can't, Jackie. I mean, this topic, I'm so thankful that before we do text earlier, I was reminded this is what we were supposed to talk about. Because, like I said, my inspirational quote earlier, I didn't do an inspirational quote for the podcast, but I did it on social media, and it was, do not allow your past to be a reflection of your current state. You know, it was something according to that. But we just got to do better. So, you don't have anything else you want to share, Jackie? You sure? No? Okay. All right. So, people, we thank you so much for tuning in to listen to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at sbfavor. I have a TikTok handle. You can find me over there at sbfavor as well. Please subscribe and share the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Audible, Google Podcasts. We are there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click like, leave me some feedback, and share the podcast with others. And click the bell on YouTube so that you can receive a notification each time there's a new episode of SB Favor Thinking Podcast. If you subscribe to SB Favor Thinking Podcast anywhere, you're always going to get a notification. So just be mindful of that if you don't want to miss any of the episodes. And if you would like to donate to the podcast, I got to remind you of this because we are growing. So please donate at $ Cash App SB Favor, $ SB Favor at Cash App, I should say. Got to get that right, Jackie. So, yeah. So, thank you, listeners, for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. You have a good day.